There is swift reaction after a Channel 2 Action News investigation into a Georgia drug rehab program. The state has opened up a new investigation. Last night, we showed you how one patient died, sparking questions about whether NARCONON of Georgia is running an illegal residential program. Investigative reporter Jody Fleischer here now with an insider ready to blow the whistle on lies told to the courts and to the state.
Justin, drug rehab programs here in Georgia can be licensed in different ways. An inpatient program means round-the-clock supervision and much more state oversight. Outpatient programs treat addicts during the day. So what happens if an outpatient program poses as inpatient, which brings in more money? Nothing, until we showed state leaders evidence they missed for a decade.
Patrick was such a sweetheart. I mean, he was a big guy, but he was a gentle giant.
Allison Reapy met Patrick Desmond at NARCONON of Georgia. She was a recovering addict who was working there. He was an alcoholic looking for help.
I still can't believe out of all the people I ever expected to overdose, he wouldn't have been one that would have even been on my radar.
Patrick died in 2008 of a heroin overdose. Records show he'd spent the evening getting drunk with Brad Taylor, his housing monitor. Patrick left unreported with 2 NARCONON flunkies, known heroin addicts.
Why do they let all these people stay if they're all using drugs and drinking still?
Because they're paying to be there. It's all about the money.
$30,000 is in the area of what we paid for the 6-month program.
Patrick's father says the executive director assured him it was a residential program, just like it's advertised on NARCONON's website.
He was an addict. He had a problem. He could not take care of himself. He knew that. We knew that. The state of Florida knew that.
But what the Florida Drug Court did not know is that NARCONON is only licensed for outpatient treatment. Take a look at its letterhead when reporting Patrick's death to state investigators. But on letters sent to Florida, the word outpatient is missing.
So what about the differences in the letterhead that goes to the courts versus the letterhead that goes to the state?
You know what? There's no, if we're going to make a big thing about letterhead and that I'm some conspirator, you know, there was a period of time when there was different letterhead, only one person chose not to use it.
Allison Reapy tells it differently.
I was directed by her to manipulate the letterhead. You know, looking back, I mean, God, if I hadn't done it, would he still be alive?
She says she sent the altered letterhead to courts throughout the country. In April, 21 out of 28 patients interviewed told state inspectors they were here from out of state as part of NARCONON's residential program.
I have been here for 11 years, and I think if the state thought I were running an inpatient, they would say something about it.
State records show a dozen complaints in the past decade calling NARCONON a scam that makes fraudulent statements and runs illegal housing. Investigators dismissed it all.
If an inspector goes in and says, well, I'm going to unsubstantiate this complaint of poor housing because they're not supposed to have housing, do they kind of have blinders on?
Well, I don't think so. I think you have to be able to go into a court of law and say you have to prove that they actually have housing.
The Department of Community Health does not have subpoena power, and NARCONON's patients all sign documents acknowledging it is outpatient when they register.
If they are, in fact, running a residential treatment facility and they're not licensed to do that, then that becomes a real problem. We'll be taking a very close look at it. All of what you have said does concern me.
He says the state has now decided to open a new investigation based largely on the evidence you've just seen. Now, because of that, he would not go into specifics about the case. Justin?
Now, Jody, you've talked a lot about the housing at NARCONON. Any criticism of its treatment methods there?
You know, we did find some of the complaints referencing that treatment, including strong links to the Church of Scientology. Now, we'll take a closer look at that tomorrow at 5. We've got another insider who says NARCONON is really about recruiting people into the church and taking their money.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Looking forward to that,
at 5.
Jody. Thank you. At 5.